everyone. Welcome to our presentation. My name is Duygu. I am a business management student at UConn and I'm minoring in economics, which is why I chose to take this course. So our topic for today is trends in the London housing market. This is based on a paper that we read, Trends and Issues in the Unaffordable London Housing Market, and it was written by Dr. Tommaso. So our case will be exploring certain topics that were discussed in this article and also adding in some knowledge that we gathered online. And here's a picture of London. So why has demand increased so much in the London housing market? In 1997, both London's population and its economy grew rapidly. And between 1997 and 2017, the number of jobs also increased by 42%, while the population grew by 26%. So while the population and the job numbers were increasing rapidly, the housing stock only grew by 500,000 homes, which is equivalent to 16% over the same period that the jobs and the population grew. So this indicates that there was an increase in demand, but it was not matched by an equal increase in supply, and it fell short. So to explore why the demand increased so much besides the job opportunities is because London is considered an international financial center. So these centers act as asset management and product innovation areas around the world. There's several countries that are considered in the same category as London in terms of the finances and their creativity within product innovation. So these centers compete with each other in order to gain and attract more capital, and they're also a destination for both commercial and residential real estate capitals. 13% of properties that are sold in London are actually bought by foreign buyers. And this is due to the fact that London is the financial center of all these operations. And this in return increases foreign investment. So London being the international financial center makes the demand skyrocket. And when housing demand grows more than supply, in return, the prices increase, which is a concept that we learned in the beginner level economics courses at UConn. So, I'm sorry. I'm just going to start from here. All right. So this graph explains what I just said in a better diagram. So the consequence of growing demand compared to the limited growth in supply is that there's a strong economic pressure on house prices. So this pressure in return leads to an increase in prices. As we can see, the demand shown by the red arrow increases and goes to the right. And the supply increases as well, but by a very lower amount. And if we look at where P1 and Q1 meet, and where P2 and Q2 meet, the price went up by a significant amount. And that is what people experience in the London, which is what we experience in the London housing market. So besides the demand and the supply, there is also strict restrictions within the city due to the local government laws. So this slide analyzes what role does planning and zoning play in the housing supply. So the UK planning system is local, meaning the local planning authority comes up with a development plan, and this plan has to go through an approval process. And this process includes negotiation, specifically around planning obligations. So these obligations prescribe the nature of development. They compensate for any loss or damage created by that development. They also mitigate the development's impact. So this process, the planning process, takes a very long time and all the decisions are made on a case-by-case basis, and they all follow a negotiation process. And there's also an extensive research that is done, and these documents are often needed for approval. They take up to months or even years, and there's almost always a delay and a lack of certainty. So there's a lot of uncertainty within the city development in terms of housing. So developers account for this lack of certainty